Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to Walk Before You Run. Today we will look at Genesis 37. I want to skip down to verse 5. It says, Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brothers, and they hated him yet the more. Now, in the verse prior to that, it lets us know that Joseph's brothers did not care for him because he was his father's favorite. He was child number 11. And verse 6 says, And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about and made obeisance to my sheaf. That means that they bowed down to his sheaf. Now, I can imagine if my younger brother or my younger sister were to tell me that they had a dream, and in this dream, I bowed down to them. That would kind of affect me in a way. So I can understand the brothers being upset. But it says that in verse 5 that they hated him yet even more. So they already didn't like him because the father showed favoritism to this son. And he was excited about this son because he was born to him by Rachel. Now, you would have to go all the way back to the beginning to find out why this child would be so special to him for years. Verse 9, I'm skipping some. Verse 9 says, And he dreamed yet another dream. Good morning, my friend. He dreamed yet another dream and told it his brethren and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the moon and the 11 stars made bow down to me. Now, this is a little bit more intense. So, if the brothers already hated him, imagine how they're going to feel about him when he starts talking about this other dream. Because he said that the sun and the moon and the 11 stars, sun, moon, 11 stars. The sun would be dad, the moon is mom, and then the 11 stars are his brothers. His brothers. So they already hated him. So you can just imagine how they're starting to feel about him now. So these brothers already envy him, and they see that father is really loving this boy and makes for him this coat of many colors. We're going to get down. But the brethren right now are with the flock, and they are taking the flock to Shechem to go and let them graze and get water and what have you. And Israel said unto Joseph, now Israel said unto Joseph, Do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said unto him, Here am I. So Joseph must have been a happy little boy, a happy young lad, because his father tells him, Okay, I need you to go and check on your brothers. And instead of him saying, Why do I have to go? I want to stay at home. I want to play. Immediately he said, Here I am. And so he goes off to Shechem to go check on his brothers. And let's see what happens. I want you to skip down to verse 15. It says, And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. Now they were supposed to be in Shechem, feeding the flocks, allowing them to drink water, and just letting them graze. But he gets there, goes where his dad tells him to go, because that's where the brothers must have told dad that's where they were going. Gets there, they're not where they're supposed to be. But this man tells him, oh, they're not here, they're in Dothan. Now, Dothan is a city in the northern part of Samaria. And I looked up the word Dothan, and it had several meanings for the word. It had the law, customs, but it also had two wells. And so I can imagine that the brothers probably left Shechem and went to Dothan so that they could have more water for their flock. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But let's take a look and see what happens. We're going to skip down to verse 18 because the man tells Joseph they're in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. Now, jealousy is out of hand, out of control when you want to kill somebody because of who they are, what they have, what they're blessed with. Now, Joseph didn't have any control over what his father felt about him. You know, his father's love for him had nothing to do with Joseph himself. His father loved him because of what that represented, the love that he had for his mom. And so sometimes people are going to be jealous of you, and it's nothing that you're doing. You can't help that you have favor with God. Sometimes people are going to be jealous of you because you found favor with God. You have to be like Joseph. Enjoy the blessing because that's what Joseph did. He enjoyed wearing his coat of many colors. He enjoyed not just being blessed of his father, but he even enjoyed being blessed of God because these dreams came from God. They weren't just some kind of dreams he had because he ate something bad that day, but they were dreams that were given to him by God. And so sometimes people are going to not care much for you because God blesses you. But you have to walk in favor and enjoy being in favor with God because it's nothing that you do. It's something that God gives you, you know? And so it's not because you were so good or because you said all the right stuff, did all the right stuff, but God gives you favor because he loves you. Now, some of it is what you do because when you walk in his word and um, you long to be with him and you try to do what pleases him, then he does give you favors. So some of it is what you do. But most of the reason why he loves us is because of his son. Let's take a look. 19 says, and they said to one another, behold, this dreamer cometh. 20, come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit, and we will say, some evil or wild beast had devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. Now, isn't that something? You have a dream that God gives you, and somebody wants to harm you so they can get rid of your dream. But if God has a vision for your life, it's nothing anybody can do to thwart that. They can't get rid of it. They can't do anything about it, but enjoy it with you or be like those brothers, be mad and be hating on you. But they cannot stop God's vision for your life. It's going to come to pass. And so all I can encourage you to do is just walk in it. But the reason why I said that this passage of scripture that we would read today would be speak up is because of what is getting ready to take place now. Let's take a look at verse 21. It says, and Reuben heard it. Now, Reuben is the oldest boy of, so Reuben heard it. And so let's see what he says. He heard it and he delivered him out of their hands and said, let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him. that he might rid him out of their hands. Now that may rid him out of their hands. What Reuben was doing was trying to get them to put him in the pit, and then when everybody else is going on and feeding the flock or go to sleep or go eat or whatever they're going to do, he had planned to go double back and go get his brother out of the pit. Now it seems like Reuben, being the oldest, should have been the first one to just say, we're going to leave him there because he's trying to mess up my thing. Because the oldest is supposed to be the one that everybody's supposed to be bowing down to, because he is the one that everything is supposed to be left to. And then he can divvy out as he sees fit. But here Joseph is saying that everybody's going to be bowing down to him. So if anybody should have been wanting to slay him, it should have been Reuben. But Reuben said no, because he loved his brother. So verse 23 says, and it came to pass when Joseph was coming to his brothers that they stripped his coat and they took him and put him in the pit. And the pit was empty. There was no water, no food. So those brothers outside of Reuben wanted him to die. Okay, we won't kill him. We're going to put him in this pit, but there'll be no way for him to survive. But look at what happens. Verse 25. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites. Now you remember who Ishmael was. Now this is kinfolk, because Ishmael was that first son of Abraham. Came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. Now, I want to drop down a bit, because what is getting ready to take place is they're going to take Joseph out, sell him to these Ishmaelites. They're going to take him. They're on their way to Egypt. Now, where they are to where Egypt is about 6,000 miles. So he's going to be traveling for a while, because it's not like they can jump on a jet and get there. So they're going to be traveling for a while. But we're going to drop on down. So go to verse 29. Verse 29 says, and Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes. And he returned unto his brethren and said, the child is not, and I, whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat and killed a kid of goats and dipped the coat in blood. Because what they were going to do is, when they got back home, they were going to tell Dad that, oh my gosh, wild animal killed your favorite son. Oh, we're so sad with you. But I love Reuben. The first thing Reuben did was Reuben told them, let's not kill him. Let's just put him in a pit, leave him there, let him die, and go on with life. But he spoke up and saved his brother's life. And then it says that when he returned, so that lets me know that after Reuben saved his life, then he must have gone off to go tend to the flock while the other brothers sat down to eat. Now, all of these brothers, they conspired against their brother. They're going to give back to their father. They're going to pretend to be so sad. But only one of them is truly sad, because he was trying to save his brother's life. Now they get back and they tell Jacob about what happened, and he tears his clothes and he cries, and he is so sad because he has already lost Rachel, his love, and now he has lost his firstborn by Rachel, and so he is devastated. But if we go all the way, so now, you guys, we need to keep turning, and I need you to jump with me and go to 42. Here, Joseph gets a chance to talk to his brothers again. So Joseph has already been sent to to Egypt, and he does well. But I'm not going to tell you about that. I want you to read about it, or maybe we'll read about it together later. But I just want to let you know that in chapter 42, verse 22, Reuben is standing there, and Joseph. They really don't know who Joseph is. They think he is dead or somewhere being a slave, but here he is over everything for Pharaoh. And so he is talking to his brothers because there's a famine in the land. And I want you to read it for yourself. I'm not going to tell you all of it, but this is years later. And they're talking, and Joseph is talking to his brothers through an interpreter so that they don't know who he is. And Joseph is asking about the younger brothers. And so Reuben answers, verse 22 says, and Reuben answered them, saying, spake I not unto you, saying, do not sin against the child, and ye would not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. So he's thinking that they're suffering because of what they did to Joseph. So perhaps maybe when Joseph was talking about those dreams, Reuben knew that it was correct or that it might be true. But I am so grateful to Reuben that he spoke up. And sometimes in life, when everybody, I don't care what everybody else, it could be your brothers and sisters, it could be your best friends, it could be your co-workers. Sometimes people are going to be talking and they're talking about the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing. And we have to speak up because we don't know what our speaking up might be in the future, down the line somewhere, maybe after we're already long gone. Our words, if we're speaking words of truth, words of wisdom that God has given us, we don't know what circumstances can be changed by what we say. So I'm just encouraging us to speak up. When you see injustice, when you see something that's going wrong and it seems like nobody is saying anything, kind of like, you know, some things that are happening in the news today, we have to learn to speak up. If you see that somebody is mistreating your brother and sister or your brother and sister in Christ or whomever, we have to speak up because we don't know what our words might do for the future. And those very words we speak might come back to save us down the line because um, maybe Joseph didn't even know that Reuben had spoken up way back then, but he knows now, you know? And so it's just a beautiful thing for us to speak up. When you know somebody is about to make a wrong decision, they're about to do something they shouldn't, speak up. They may not listen to you, they might do it anyway, but at least you chose wisdom to try to share some of that wisdom to help. Okay? I know I was long winded today, but this is such a beautiful lesson and it is so right on time. I encourage you to go back and read those chapters between 37 and 42, and even go back before that and just look at the life of Joseph and look at the life of Jacob and just see how God can work a thing out. And especially look at the life of Joseph. Sometimes it looks like you're down and out, but you don't know what great blessings God has in store for you in the future. Remember to walk before you run, and remember that you are blessed to be a blessing to someone else. So go out and be that blessing. And when I say go out, you may not have to leave your home, pick up your phone, turn around and look at somebody, but be a blessing to someone else. I'll see you next time. All right. Thank you. Bye.